Hi, everyone. This is Craig Zelzer from PCDN Global here with Lina Cuervo for Season 10, Episode 18. It's the last episode of Season 10. Congrats. I'm based in Medellin, Colombia. Lina is based in Mexico City, so strong Latin America focus today. So today we're going to be talking... Sorry, I'm just turning off the sound. Today we're going to be talking about blending business and impact lessons from a career in venture and startups. For people who may not have joined one of our podcasts in the past, this is Livestream. It goes for about an hour. We'd love to hear from people watching wherever you are in the world. So you could, anytime in the LinkedIn chat or YouTube chat, you can let us know where you're watching from, put a sentence or two about your background. And as we go throughout the episode, please make questions, comments, and we'll bring them as much as possible into the conversation. Once this live session is finished, this will be saved on LinkedIn and YouTube, and then in about a month, it'll be converted to one of our 110 episodes of the Social Change Career Podcast, which features brilliant innovators from, I think, 30 countries from all different sectors, from impact investing to tech for social change to reducing gender-based violence. So please check them out. You can find them on PCDN.global or any major podcasting platform. Two requests before I introduce Lina and we jump in. If you like this podcast or any podcast you listen to, think about taking 15 seconds to rate and or share it, because it helps all of us podcasters grow our reach and also amplifies the voice and experience of our incredible guests. So it helps us. This is a labor of love. And I think that's about it. So Lina is a serial social innovator, impact maker. She's an entrepreneur and has over 8 years experience leading and working alongside business, product and growth teams in venture studios. She'll explain what that means, startups and social entrepreneurship. She's been an entrepreneur and a product builder and has built digital products, designed companies' portfolios all across Latin America. She's the co-founder and managing partner of Cube Ventures. So we'll have to ask where that name came from. It's a very cool one. A venture capital firm that accelerates early stage Latin American startups in 3 areas: investment, knowledge transfer, and community building. And I really like the way that Cube kind of talks about the focus of their work. They bet on projects with the greatest potential from their ideation to kind of incubation to scaling, so that they can grow and scale exponentially, generating a positive and measurable impact on economy and society. She's worked for numerous startups. She also is on the advisory board of Village Capital's Colombia Ecosystems Builder project, and Village Capital is one of the leading firms in the world and involved in many other areas. So Lina, thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome, and hope you're having a good day in Mexico City. And can you tell us a little bit about the type of change you're focused on in your career?
Yes, and thank you so much, Greg, for the invitation. So I focus actually, helping entrepreneurs to build companies that could have impact, but could be also financial stable and can provide like some returns, financial returns to our investors. So I'm focused on gender equality, and that means that I'm trying to promote women and other people to be lead or to lead companies across Latin America. And also I work for some organization in Spain and Europe. So I'm trying to do that in Europe and Latin America.
Can you talk about going back to your teenage years? Did you have an aspiration for a particular career path? Like, how in the world did you what did you want to be? An actress, an artist, a politician, a business person? So how did you start getting an interest in startups?
I think at the age of 7, I decided that I want to help people. So I was wondering at the age of 7 why I was so lucky to have a roof, to have food, to have too many things. My father, he builds roads in Colombia, and he pushed us too hard to really know the 2 realities that we have. One that he has with his people, his collaborators, and one that we have at home. And in that moment, I said, like, why we are not similar? Why I have this kind of house and why they have that kind of house. And that helped me to decide what I want to study and then what I want to work for. When I was studying finance and international business in the university, um, I want to be part of the UN or some of these organizations that they focus their job in helping people. But when I finished my career, I jumped to Polymer Ventures, that is a company studio, and there I know that we can build companies that could have an impact in the society. And that was the way that I decided to be part of ecosystem that really want to build companies that are financial um, stable and could have return for the investors, but also they focus on social impact.
Okay, wonderful. So welcome Ibrahim from Somalia, Christopher from San Francisco, Caitlin from Ashburn. Please keep letting us know where you're watching from. And we've got people working in innovative finance and donor-assisted funds, so great. And feel free to put your comments and questions throughout the chat and also invite other people. So Lina, one question. So did you go from university to Polymath Ventures? And for people who don't know, Polymath Ventures is probably the leading venture startup studio, I think, in Latin America, and I think they've been around 10 years. And so do you want to describe a little bit what you were hired for? Because Polymath, describe like what in the world Polymath does, because not everyone knows what a venture startup studio is. And what was your role when you first entered? And did you have a defined company you were working for? And how did you do all that stuff?
Yes. So Polyma is a company studio. That means that they build companies from scratch. So they build a team that have they focus on recognize the ecosystem, recognize the opportunities, and recognize they have like a research to build some companies and have an MVP and then provide that. They try to know if this company is going to help the middle class in Latin America. Sorry. Um, and what they have is they have a really like a methodology, and that is amazing because they really know and they build a learning cycle that give them the opportunity to grow really fast. So they have like a probably built 10 companies at the moment. Five of them are really good. Aflore, Elena's, Autolab, maybe you have heard about that. Tani, I saw another one. And I was hired for one of them that was Pink. Right now, Pink was sold. And I was like a hire for like a recruitment analyst. And in that moment, I didn't know that I want to be a recruitment analyst. I studied finance, so I want to focus on finance, but it was an opportunity to start working. And I think was one of my best decisions that I have made in the past, and that gives me a lot of experience in the future.
Okay, wonderful. Welcome Amare from Ethiopia, Tebogo from Botswana. Please keep letting us know where you're watching from. So can you talk, because Polymath Ventures has a really, I wouldn't say unique, but somewhat unique model. So what does it mean to join a venture startup studio? Because the companies emerge from the studio. Yes. And so how did you go from like recruitment advisor to actually then joining a company that was incubated inside of Polymath?
So yeah, what is amazing is the people that work in Polymath, the team. I ask myself too many times why I'm here if I am working with Winnie. That she studied Harvard, she built a really nice company in the United States. She sold the company, and she was part of McKinsey. So you learn about like a lot of things from these people. And the reason that I joined was I want to be part of something that have in their mission have an impact in different ways. So they want to build companies that could grow really fast, but also that is gonna empower or improve the life of middle class in Latin America. And I joined as a recruitment analyst, and I grow really fast. So I started as a recruitment analyst, and then I was a business analyst. And after 4 years, I was opening operations in Mexico City, and that was the first time that I landed into Mexico City.
Wonderful. And also I put in the link, check out the Global Startup Studio Network, because there's like a network of, of these type of studios. And so can you talk a little bit about, for people who might want to work in a startup or a startup studio, obviously if it's an early stage, you do everything, but what are your recommendations for what type of skills to develop and where to look for the jobs?
I think one is passion. You have to have passion about what you are building or what you are focused on. And even if it's recruitment analyst, business analyst, or expansion director, you have to be in love of your company or the product that you are building or the problem that you are building, or you're trying to solve. Because in otherwise, this takes a lot of time and this takes a lot of effort. So one is passion. Second one is resilient. I think you are going to see how many times you fail, how many times you make mistakes, how many times you don't know what to do, but you try to find the solution for that. And the other one is you need to work in team. You have to be a team worker. You have to build a community because you can do this alone. It's impossible. And right now that I'm a managing partner in a VC, it's really hard to build something amazing alone. So I think that is not possible. I think resilient, passion. You have to be a problem solver somehow, because you are going to find too many problems in the way that you are going to start thinking out of the box to really find the solution and to really focus on that. Of course, you have, I think one is KPI oriented or OKRs oriented, because otherwise you can build too many solutions, but there are not going to be focused on one of the objectives that you want to have in the future. I think it's most of that.
Okay. Thank you so much. So one question is, if people might be in university or in grad school or just learning on their own. So you've talked about resilience and kind of passion and perseverance and focus. Or if someone wants to upskill, obviously it depends on the sector they want to go, but are there any skills, because you have finance training? So do you recommend everyone gets at least some basic finance training or learn how to code, or obviously like any general skills or knowledge areas for people who want to work at startups and social impact?
I really believe that you don't know what you need to learn if you are not working on something. Because I was head of product, and I didn't know that I need to learn about HTML or something with this coding. But I think one is, if you want to be part of a startup, of being part of social impact solution, something like that. If you are in early stage, and even if you are right now and you want to jump into this, you can be a volunteer. I was a volunteer for an organization in Spain in 2020, and that gave me the option to be a consultant for the IDB, right? And I was not paid. I just want to share my knowledge. I just want to share what I know, and I just want to learn too much. And of this, I decide which kind of knowledge I need to. And I start reading, and I start studying, I start like a Platzi and too many options that we have in Latin America to learn. But it's kind of hard to decide I want what to learn if you don't know how you are going to use that knowledge.
Wonderful. And you mentioned Platzi, so Platzi is a rapidly, let's say, high growth, high impact startup that is doing a lot for upskilling for professionals and students. And, I don't know their yearly turnover, but they're really doing well. And I know last week somehow they helped launch a satellite on one of the SpaceX. It's a big deal. So I think it's mostly in Spanish, but if you speak Spanish, check out their courses and learning and free events as well. So one question is to you, what is the difference between a startup that focuses on, all startups need to have a business model, because if they don't, unless they just have endless cash to burn. So what's the difference between just a business, a startup, and a startup that connects to social impact?
I think is how you build the solution. So normally in a startup where you're building a company, you have a user that have a problem, and you have the organization that have the possible they're building the solution for this problem, right? But when you are building for social impact, you need to have a better view about what is happening in the ecosystem. You just not focus on the user, what is happening across the government, across the corporates. So you have a focus, you have to broaden your view. And in these kind of things, you are going to see how many other organizations could help you to have a solution for that problem. Um, and probably the other one is you want to have a business model. Of course, you want to build a company that probably is going to have raise a lot of money, but you have to be clear that one of social impact is going to be the, I'm going to say in Spanish, but I don't know the name in English, but the columna vertebral.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the spine, like the essence. Yes.
Exactly. For the organization.
Okay.
So when you are going to hire someone, these people have to believe in what you are building and this vertical, right? This spine.
Okay. And special thanks to Lina, for doing this in English, because if I do things in Spanish and I struggle, but thank you. Your English is great. So a question. So where in the world did the idea for Cube Ventures come from? So is it something that you had been thinking about for years, and then how did it come together? And then some metrics. I think you've invested in 107 companies, like a little bit about the metrics, then we'll get into other details.
So we burned in 2020, and was my co-founder Santiago Rojas, the person that found they built a Cube Venture from scratch. He is a serial entrepreneur, so he has sold some of the two companies that he has built, and others have failed. And one of his ideas was, we have really good talent in Latin America. We have really good people, but could be underserved or underestimated because they don't have the knowledge or they don't have the opportunity to be part of any group of community. And also, if we just connect with really good mentors, if we transfer knowledge, and if we help them to get or to raise money, we are going to help the company and these entrepreneurs to build something amazing. And what is really good is some entrepreneurs they know that there is an opportunity for building an organization, a company, and probably they're going to have an exit in the future. But some of these also entrepreneurs live in this problem, they have a skin in the game because they see poverty, or they see climate change, and they want to change that through the entrepreneurship. So we born in 2020, and I joined in 2021. I was working for Clip in Mexico City, that is a unicorn on a fintech, and in the strategic team. But also I was part of the IDV lab. Ferlac is this kind of organization, as a consultant. And the reason that I joined Cube was, as probably everyone in Latin America in over COVID, I have some. I broke myself in so many ways. And one of that was, what is the best way to help uh, the world to change too many things that we have to change. Um, and in this moment, I realized that I'm really emotional. I really yeah, I'm really emotional. I connect really well or really hard with the things that is happening around. So I define that and I decide that I can't work in the front side, like I can work in the company per itself, but I can work for other organizations that are going to help these organizations. And I realize, or I remember this book of Mohammed Yunus, that he said some people born to be entrepreneurs and others born to support the entrepreneurs. And I decide that I'm the second part. I realize that I am a supporter.
Wonderful. Yeah, and people, obviously, Muhammad Yunus, if people have not followed Grameen Bank and the Banker to the Poor and just his work, I think he's 80, 81, but please check it out. Also, BRAC in Bangladesh is amazing as well. It's one of the largest NGOs in the world. So can you talk about, so the metrics, so you run how many programs and you have 107 companies about, and how many are led by women founders or by diverse populations, and how many countries in Latin America?
Yes. So we have raised a small fund. We are not like we have not background in wealth or as a family offices. So we have a lot of meetings with angels across Latin America, and right now we have a portfolio with 107 companies in 9 countries. 62% of that are led by women or co-founded by women. We have a gender focus. Like we focus on the old SDG number 5. Um, and these organizations, what is nice is we have entrepreneurs that are not all only located in the main cities. We are across all the countries. Um, and we are raising a fund for 5 million fund that want to invest just in gender equality across Latin America in idea stage. We believe that helping people or entrepreneurs in idea stage, we are going to build capacities or for the ecosystem across a lot of countries that are building their ecosystem right now.
Okay, wonderful. And then I don't want to ask for your favorite companies, but which are some that you think either are doing very well economically and or doing amazing impact wise in terms of their business? And hopefully it's both, but sometimes it might be one or the other.
Yes. I have a lot, but I'm going to mention 3 of them. One is, or 4 of them. One is Click Green. They are based in Medellin, actually. And what they are doing, they are helping these, I'm going to say it in Spanish, so you can help me in English. They lend money for compañías de economía circular.
For circular economy, so companies that are part of the circular economy, they lend.
Exactly, they are not financial, like they are not. So the banks, they don't lend money for these organizations. So Click Green do it, and it is a way to reduce the huella de carbono in Latin America or in the world.
Yeah, the carbon footprint.
Exactly. Right now they have like probably lent close to $1.5 million in the last 6 months. 6 months. So they are growing really fast. And what is nice is the co-founders are young people, like 23 years, that they have just finished the university, but they really believe what they are building right now. So that is one. Working Kids, the other one, they have built with AI parental monitor, so they want to reduce the to help with this one, abuso sexual en niños.
Sexual abuse, like child sexual abuse.
Exactly, because it's a really a problem, like a big problem in Latin America across the world, and they have really good numbers right now. They work with the government. And there's another one that names Yo Me Encargo, that is in Argentina, and they're using electrical, for the, what is the name, delivery things,
Yeah.
as a Mercado Libre. One Mercado Libre is going to be one of the clients, but
Okay.
they use electrical vehicles for
Mhm.
this work.
So is it like last mile delivery or yes, okay, yes, yes. So,
Yes.
okay, so amazing. I mean, I want to check into all those companies, and obviously living in Medellin, I got to check out Click Green. And so people, if they want to see the companies that you've invested in, they can go to the Cube Venture website. So a question has come in, and please keep asking your questions. So this is from Abel. I think, how can companies, he's asking particularly sub-Saharan Africa, but I think this is anywhere, best position themselves to work in partnerships with social enterprises that have innovative solutions? So basically what he's asking for, what are the recommendations for how you can build partnerships with others, whether you're a company or a startup or an NGO, like how do you approach partnerships both as Cube Ventures and the companies that you're helping to support?
So one of the value add that we give to the organizations is that we we talk to people every day, too many meetings, work and looking for partnerships to help our companies, also the ecosystem, to grow. And I think that is the way to approach one partnership, is how, and I learned this some years ago, but how I help you first and then how you can help me, because it's the way that I can help you to grow. And when we have an approach for a corporate or for another startup or for a VC or some or angels, we just said how we can build something together, how we can help each other to grow, and how this is gonna be something amazing in the future. And the people, we are really like scared about no, or probably we're going to really scared about to people are not gonna hear me or they want to talk to me. But I learned when I open up our organization here, when I open operations in Mexico City, that if you just text them through LinkedIn, most of them are not going to answer, but most of them are going to answer. And then you can just, it's the way that Craig and I met, right? I just text him through LinkedIn, and was the way to start a conversation. And when you want to give a pitch, probably you are not going to start looking for money or start looking for a business partnership, something like that. You can start looking for feedback. I want to tell you more about my organization, so I just want to hear your feedback, and this is the way to build trust between the both organizations.
Yes, I think our friend connected us, but LinkedIn, if you use it the right way, not in transactional, but curiosity and service, it can be amazing. But if you use it transactionally and say, "Give me money or a job," or then most people will not respond. But if it's genuine, positive interaction, you've done some research, you'll probably get a good response rate. So can you talk a little bit about what in the world is venture capital? Because a decent amount of people watching now or listening in the future will come from the finance world, but other people don't understand it. So what is the business model of venture capital and why does it exist?
It's an investment asset. So is if you're looking for for investments, you look for buildings or you look for stocks, but also you can have VC as a investment asset. What happened with VC is a risky investment asset. So venture capital means capital de riesgo in Spanish, like a risk capital. Um, and what we are trying to do is invest in the best companies that are based like a tech based, and they have the possibility to grow really fast and to add value for the ecosystem, and really have a really big value. And they have they bake by investments. So they start as an idea, as a entrepreneurship, um, but they look for money to grow more and more and more. And how that works is you're looking for invest in the best companies, in the best entrepreneurs, uh, and and they have a clear view of the opportunity, or the market opportunity, and they're going to grow really fast. And you are thinking, or as a VC, we are looking for have an exit in the other stages. So you also, we are looking, all the VCs are looking for an unicorn or to have an IPO, because it's the best way to have an exit, but also how you are going to sell the company in the future. Normally, it's a company that is going to be sold.
Okay, great. Yes. So thank you so much. And just for people who may not know, IPO, initial public offering, when a privately held company sells stocks and shares to the public. Basically, there's different forms of exits. One is the IPO, so it becomes a public company, and like regular people can buy shares. They can get acquired by another company. So often a bigger company or a competitor or somebody else wants to acquire the assets or the talent, and that can be successful. And then, so often when people you're talking about, it's high risk investment, but also potentially high return. And Catalina and I, we do angel investing, which is a much smaller scale, but investing in early stage social impact startups that are just doing incredible things all over the world, including Mexico, Colombia, and some of the companies, some have failed, but some of them are doing the most incredible things, and not all, but like, for example, one in Mexico, I think it's called Siglo, which is doing like internet for, let's say, the bottom of the pyramid. So people, like, affordable internet for communities, often in poorer areas, but high speed. So it's just like, or another one is like this is a really cool one in the US, Cambium Carbon, which is using trees that fall in cities, which I've never thought about. In the past, they would all go to the trash. And so what they do is it's a circular. So they take trees that fall, they turn them into wood, and then they sell them to local wood people. So the idea is, like, there's a lot of cool things in the circular economy. So if someone that is watching this or listening in the future is crazy enough to, build a startup, what is your just general advice? Like, because lots of people have ideas. And so, everybody has ideas, but when do you know that an idea that you have could potentially be a business? Like, what is your advice for anyone who's like thinking, like, I want to start something and I have 10 ideas? How do they try to find an idea that could grow into something?
So I'm going to talk to in my both sides. One is the rational side, and the other one is the emotional side that work together. But when I talk about rational side, I'm thinking build a business model. Like, start looking for numbers and research about if this is gonna work. We have some companies in other countries, in other continents, that are going to, they are doing the same and are successful or not. There is an opportunity in the market. So you have to make a lot of questions and to have the answer for most of them. But most of the questions is going to be assumptions, because you are not going to have all the information. But you can build a business model that is going to give you insight if that makes sense or not. If you are building, I don't know, earrings for one people, that must make sense. But if you are building earrings that's going to help to track the health, something like that, maybe it's going to be something interesting for the future. So one that it was in the rational way, and the emotional way is you have to be really brave, because entrepreneurship is amazing. Like, you are going to have really like a lot of great moments, but also it's hard. It's also sometimes you don't know what to do, and sometimes you hear a lot of no's that you just say, like, I'm tired about the no's. So you have to be brave, and you have to be and I think another one is be be build a community, and that means to have a partner, a co-founder, or have a mentor or an advisor, and ask for help. People are willing to give advice, and are willing to share knowledge. and you just need to ask. I'm a mentor and I'm an advisor, and my people, I have 100 mentors in my organization right now, and I just need to call them and say like, I need help. This company doesn't know how to have a commercial approach for B2B, right?
Mhm.
And they're going to help. Um, I think it's the both that you have to
Okay. Wonderful. So just for people who don't know, B2B is business to business. So companies can be B2C, business to consumer, direct to consumer, or B2B or B to government. But like they have to figure out what service or product they're offering and the price point and who they're selling it to. And I would say a lot of what you said also applies to people starting NGOs too. And I've done both, and it's exhilarating, terrifying, frustrating, amazing, exhausting, and I burnt out multiple times. And a question for you is, do you think to build something, do you have to be a workaholic? Because I would say in the startup world, it's changing a little bit. There's a lot of, particularly in Silicon Valley, there's a lot of workaholism worship, and not everybody. I think increasingly people are saying, yes, it's important to build and work, but you need to have a life. But what do you see in Latin American startups, and what is your advice for founders? Are they going to have to work 100 hours a week, or you can do something successfully and work 40 hours a week, maybe sometimes like you just have to work all the time, or it depends on the person?
My therapist said that a workaholic is someone that wants to hide something working. And I think because I asked myself too many times this, right? And I think you have to be commit, like I have a commitment, and really, yeah, you have to be all yourself in entrepreneurship, and you're entrepreneur if you're an entrepreneur. But you don't need to work 100 hours per week. I don't think so. I think you have to be happy doing what you are doing, and that means that you are not going to be asking yourself if you have to work more hours or not. And I think we have to find different ways to be more efficient in the time that we have. And we are a person, right? We are not a machine. And that means that we are going to have all our different parts of our life together. So we are going to have our family, our partner, our friends, our personal life, too many things together, and we need to define what that means. Of course, it's going to be a opportunity cost, and of course, you are going to say like, if I work on, if I'm meeting this right now, I'm not going to be for lunch with my parents, something like that. And you need to estar tranquilo.
Yeah, to be relaxed or to calm. Yeah.
Yes, with the decisions that you made, because sometimes you are not going to have time for everything. But yes, entrepreneurship is gonna ask you a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of your brain. I sleep with my tablet in the night, not mesita noche.
Not on the nightstand, the night table next to your bed.
Exactly. And sometimes I wake up and I write what I'm thinking, and I start like I sleep again, because you are thinking to me about this every time. But what I believe is you are building something to be happy and to help some people and others. So if you are not okay, you don't have the capability, or you don't have the energy to help others. So you need to focus also on yourself.
Okay. So just one quick story, then a follow-up question. So I've been workaholic, and I'm still a little bit, but I work much less than I used to. I used to work most nights, and I had 2 full-time jobs for 5 years. And Catalina, my wife, is like, "You're gonna have a heart attack," which So, and I still work a lot, and it's still an important part of my identity. Catalina, my wife, would say too much, but we have a kid who's very competitive in soccer, so we have practice and games all the time. So it's like my schedule, like if I don't want to work one day, we go to the movies, or I'll take so it's like I try to build in enough, and I do some therapy too. I think it's very helpful. I think I don't want to say it's for everybody, but for me, it gives a lot of insights. So a question is for the founders who were co-founders in the companies you invest in. As Cube Ventures, how do you help them think about their own well-being? So do you have like a psychologist who consults with people who want it? Or I'm saying this because Alexis Ohanian, I don't know him personally, but from 776 Ventures and the foundation, the co-founder of Reddit, they're a leading VC firm. He's married to Serena Williams, and he talks a lot about in their investments, they include support, like thinking about time and coaching. It's very unusual because most investors, they want to support the founders, but more just like grow your business so I can make money. So how do you put that balance of like well-being to the founders?
So we are quite different from other VC firms, and our mentors have a participation of the companies, so they have a skin in the game, and we have different kind of mentors. One part of them are psychologists and therapists, because we really believe that the entrepreneur has to have, or the co-founders have to have well-being, they have to take care about themselves, and sometimes it's really hard to take time for that, or save time for taking care. So we have therapists in our mentors that are helping our companies, and also we became somehow this kind of therapist for our companies, and that means is I have my phone all times with my co-founders of the organization, the entrepreneurs, asking too many things, and sometimes they are frustrated about what is happening, why they're not growing, and we just sit with them and say this is what is happening. Sometimes it's not something that is around the company, sometimes it's something that is in you. But yes, it's something that we know is we are working with people, we are not working with machines, and that means we need to take care of them in different ways. And also we do it with ourselves, with our team, and that means that we are going to do it with our investments too.
Okay, wonderful. I'm really happy to hear that. So if you think about the 9 countries in Latin America where you are currently invested in companies, what do you see as the real growth opportunities, both in terms of impact and revenue because business can't solve everything, and that's one of the big, Catalina, my wife, and I, we work together, and she's like, don't drink the Kool-Aid, like startups and social enterprises, great, but like we need governance and taxes and policy. And I agree with that. So where do you see like some of the greatest opportunities where innovative business can have a significant impact? And are there limitations where, no, that shouldn't be a startup, that should be better government policy?
I think there's a lot of things that have to be a government policy, as a health, as education, as too many things. But in Latin America, if we wait for that, we are going to wait a lot. So we start building solution for that. We have one organization that is Delta, and Leslie built a platform for adults that have not finished the bachillerato, the
High school.
Exactly. And in the rural in Colombia, So, and we should we think the government have to take care of that, but they are not going to do it, not now. So we have to build solutions. So there is something that is amazing, and I have seen in Europe, and I compare with Latin America, is if we are building social solutions, are totally different from Europe than for Latin America. And that means that we have a lot of opportunities to build companies that are going to grow really fast, and they're going to have an impact, but also they have a business model that is going to have revenue for their co-founders and also for the investors. And one of probably is health. It's really hard health in different countries, and not just because we don't have hospitals or these kind of things, because there are people that is not in the main cities and they need help. I met some organizations in Honduras that they build a telemedicine. I don't know how to say
Telemedicine, yeah, virtual.
uh, for different towns in Honduras, and they are doing really well because people that they don't have access to this, and they don't know how to go for a doctor. They
Mhm.
think that they are going to be charged. They think that it's going to be really expensive, and that is the reason of the a lot of people die, right? Another one is food. So we are going to see a lot of food tech companies right now raising in Latin America, and it's because we are really good in commodities, right? We live of that, and the companies and the countries are really good on that. So we're going to see a lot of companies that are going to try to reduce the waste of these commodities through the whole process, and it's gonna cheap the prices, and also it's gonna be they are going to have more access. The people are going to have access for that, and climate tech. We have Amazonia, and this is the grind. How you say pulmon? Sorry, my English.
Lungs,
One of the lungs,
yeah.
exactly. And is how we take care about Amazonia, but other other parts of the Latin America, and we're going to see a lot of organizations that they have the some solar energy, no,
Mhm.
or they have this kind of footprint to reduce the footprint, or bonus de carbono. If we're going to see
Yeah,
some
carbon credits, yeah.
exactly. So I think it's really hard and really sad to see that the government is not giving access to many things, but also if we are a private sector, we're going to see too many opportunities to build a solution, and a solution that is going to have a huge impact, but also is going to be a good company. And one of the breakdowns that we have to have is a social business is not have to be um, financial
Yeah,
viable, right?
viable. Yeah, okay, great. So just a couple more questions. One is in your hiring for not in companies, but hiring team members, whether at Polymath or Cube. Can you talk a little bit, when you have hired or are hiring? I mean, if you're open to sharing, like how many applications do you get for a staff position? And then what makes a difference for when you choose to interview someone and not? So any recommendations for people applying for jobs at Cube Ventures, or if you think across the portfolio of companies when they hire, like what do you see makes a difference when job applicants are applying?
So what one thing that is amazing is more people want to be part of this, and that makes like that. That means that want to be part of an ecosystem that is growing, and some of them came from corporations, and they are going to have like a to jump, as we said, to the entrepreneurship ecosystem that is quite different from corporations. Um, and that is amazing because they have really good knowledge that we can apply in entrepreneurship, and we are going to have like a more stable processes and too many things, right? So one is that, and it's amazing. But one thing is probably they are going to look for salaries as corporates, and in entrepreneurship, it does not happen in the early stages. Probably if it's a unicorn, something like that, the salaries are going to change. So it's one of that, but it's amazing what is happening right now. Also, they want to solve a problem, so they want to be connected with the solution that they are working on. um, and I think it's one of the difference between generations right now, right? Like they are really they want to work something that they make them happy, and they don't have like just work for money. um, so I have seen that. Also, I believe and I trust on people that they look opportunities when they are not opportunities. That means that they knock your door before you have an opportunity, and they just say like, I want to be part of this. How I can be part of this? Because these people that is going to stay longer, even if you have hard times. Because sometimes if you are just here for money, is quite hard because you are going to have really good moments and really bad moments, and you need someone that is passionate about what they're doing and is going to stay for longer. Um, in our company in Cube, we prefer people that have experience with entrepreneurs because they are going to have uh, a better approach for our portfolio, but also we are looking for like some specialties as a financial, as a wealth, because we are an asset, right? An investment asset. So we have to have returns for our investors. Um, so we are looking for that, but we have too many things in the table, and we are happy to work with a lot of people. Um, yes.
Okay. And then no pressure, but do you see your team growing? Like, might you be hiring, or do you have a job board across the companies you invest in, or people would look individually?
Yes. So our companies are hiring now. They're in a really early stage. Probably they're more focused on have a co-founder that people that is part of the team, because they're focused on proof market, to have a product market fit, right? But yes, the companies, actually we have 200. Our portfolio have in the team 281 people that have grown for the last quarter. That was 211. So that is good. They're
Mhm.
growing. And in Cube Ventures, we are looking for entrepreneurship analysts that want to be part of this. And also one person that is going to be part of fundraising, as we as a VC
Yeah.
working with investors every day. But yes, we're thinking we are going to grow. Our next step is 5 million fund, and then we were going to be for the 40 million, and then for the 100 million, and also we are raising a venture debt fund
Mhm.
for early stage companies, because it's really hard for the pre-seed companies find debt to grow.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful.
So yeah.
Okay. So stay tuned. Then just two more questions. One is for people who really are interested in Cube Ventures, not necessarily looking for a job. What kind of help are you looking for? I mean, like, how does are you set on mentors? And obviously, if someone who is in VC happens to watch this in the future, like, I mean, not to get into the details of finance, so you're looking for potential investors, but also like mentors, or can people recommend companies? Like, when's your next round of applications for startups?
Yes. So one is pipeline. So we are going to invest in early stage companies in idea stage, Latin America, gender equality, agnostic in industry. So if you know someone in Latin America that is have these characteristics, happy to talk to them. So it's pipeline. The other one is mentors, and the reason that we are looking actively about mentors is the company grow, and that means that they are going to help, like need help in different stages. So in the beginning, it's gonna be to have like a how to find product market fit, but then it's called how to open a new country, and the mentors helps a lot. And if you want to be a mentor, more than happy. Right now, we are building the advisory boards for the organizations in our portfolio, and they are amazing. And probably you're going to share a lot of knowledge
Mhm.
with them. And of course investors, we are right now in raising the second fund, so people that believe in our thesis,
Okay.
because sometimes it's really hard to say that you are in we are between an impact fund and a VC fund, so we are in the middle, and sometimes people said that they don't believe about the impact. So it's like okay, and sometimes we are too much about VC, so we are looking for returns. So that means that is we are in the middle, and it's sometimes interesting but sometimes hard. Um, and for ourselves, that means we are learning. As a co-founders, we learn every day. And if someone said, I know how to raise a fund, I'm more than happy to talk to these people. Or if they know how to sell, because raising a fund is selling.
Mhm.
And I'm learning these uh, qualities every day. So yeah.
Okay. And then my last question is, this could be things you're doing professionally or just something completely for fun? Like, are you upskilling in anything, reading a great book, watching a series, or listening to a podcast, anything that's kind of occupying your brain in a good way?
I want to know more about gender equality. So right now I'm reading a book that is, and you're going to help me to traduce this, liderazgo desde lo femenino.
Yeah, like leadership from a feminine perspective, and like feminist leadership, I would call you.
And it's amazing because we learn a lot of things, or I have learned a lot of things, why we behave in the way that we behave, and how we can take advantage in the main differentiations that we have with men normally.
Okay.
Like how to leader from the empathia.
Yeah.
And this is one part of as a woman we have in so many ways. So that one is one, and the other one I'm trying to practice more yoga, because I really believe that is some. I have a tattoo that it says coherencia, and I think we have to be aligned between what we think, what we say, what we feel, and what we act, how we act. And I'm trying to do more about this through Buddhism, Hinduism, and yoga, and this kind of things.
Wonderful. And I think the book would be like feminine leadership style, not feminist, but something in there. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your energy, doing it in English, which is great. Thank you for everyone watching from around the world. We had a lot of people from Africa today. Whoever shared it, whoever started, thank you so much. Again, if you like this podcast or any podcast, please take 15 seconds to rate and share. This is the end of season 10. So this episode 18, season 11 is coming. And please check out Cube Ventures. Please check out the Global Startup Studio Network. Check out Polymath Ventures. Check out PCDN. Actually, my last quick question before we finish. Do you have any favorite resources or networks you use to stay kind of connected and informed on impact startups? Like in that, like, is it a newsletter, an informal network? Any for people who love this and just want more, like where do you go to learn, like community?
Yes, we are part of a community in Latin America that it calls Red de Impacto. So it is a way to be connected between all the organizations that are looking for help social entrepreneurships. So that one is one. I'm part of We Invest. So we are trying to increase the number of women investing in Latin America. And I learned more, like a lot from these women that are in this group. Another one is Mujeres Invirtiendo, also in Mexico City. I'm more in the part of investments, but also trying to learn how to match with impact investment. And there is one event that I really recommend that is in Latin America, in Mexico, in Yucatan, that it calls FLI, the Foro Latinoamericano de Inversión de Impacto, Impact Investor Forum. It happened every year in February, March, and it's amazing because you are going to find there foundations, impact funds, VC funds, entrepreneurs, government, too many organizations just thinking how to improve the life that we are living right now.
Okay, so wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone else, and have a wonderful day. And please follow Lina on LinkedIn and Cube Ventures. Thanks.
Thank you so much.